Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I wanted to first thank you guys so much for all your super nice, incredibly nice comments and the welcome backs and all the love that warmed my heart so much. It was just so nice to hear from you all, some familiar names. It was so nice to see you, and also just unfamiliar names. Either way, it's so nice to have such nice feedback, and I appreciate it so much. And it is so fun to be back talking to you guys again, and boy did I come back at the perfect time. Wow, Wednesday, which will be known as Indictment Day. And it's funny because, I just dropped this, I actually brought these cards out again because I feel like I'm getting a little more story from what has come out in the indictment paperwork that they put out for us to see. And in case there's any confusion, the cards I have laid out now are from my previous reading that I did a few days before this one on the impending Trump indictments, which are here now. And I felt like some of the messages in these cards are interesting to look at again real quick based on what we've learned so far, including the woman judge who's been assigned, and so much pointing to Bedminster, both of which I read on in this video. And what I think we're going toward that I think came up for us in the cards, which is Bedminster. And I'll explain in a minute. And I first want to say it's kind of funny because, of course, I was so happy to see these indictments come on Wednesday. But I was kind of like, wait, I thought it wasn't happening this week, according to what I got in the cards or what I thought I got in the cards. And it's funny because they almost like talked back to me and they were like, well, we gave you the death card. We told you it's done. And actually, I did say, especially with this Ace of Wands, like it's done, it's just looming and it's coming down. But as I learned more, that what he got Wednesday was actually a summons to show up next week for the official indictment. And so I was like, okay, I guess the card, I always say the cards tell you true. It's like, did you read it right is always the question. So it's funny, now I understand this Ace of Wands. I did know, I'm like, some kind of ruling is coming down right now. And I think that's like, this was representing the summons that is now in effect for Trump to show up to receive the indictments. It's also funny because I got this 10 of Swords and I had added in my reading, and this I knew was like upcoming on deck, the indictment's coming down on him. And we knew it would be a death blow also. I do think that death card is just like, whoa, boom, and for all the stealing, right? But I thought 10 I think that means there's a lot coming because 10 is the highest number that can come down, in tarot. And then at first I heard it was 7 indictments and I was like, okay, that's a lot. I thought it might be a little more, and I was like almost embarrassed because in my reading I was like, I think there's gonna be like 10, 20, 30, and I was like, I can't believe I said 30. I'm like, what was I thinking? 30 indictments. And then it turns out the next day we find out it's 38 indictments. Wow, that is a lot. It's actually, I believe it's called one indictment but 38 counts. So there you go. So one thing, the reason I had these out again, I think there's something, a really good point to this 3 of Pentacles. There's 3 investigations working together. We've got Fani Willis here. She was on hold. And then we got Jack Smith coming full. But there's 3. And I think that, and it's all going to come to the money. And if you missed my second reading in my last, I did this reading, but then I did a second reading, like really on the money, because I really think it's going to come down to that when we get into the trial. And that was another thing I wanted to mention, because I did get a woman judge here in this Queen of Swords. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a woman judge. But I was very unhappy with who the woman judge is, Eileen Cannon, who is a pro-Trump. I mean, there's like a photo of her online wearing a pro-Trump hat. Like, she's hardcore MAGA. I'd like to read on this and see, because one good thing is I'm like, here's the trial. We have her to the left, okay? For me, and I think in general in tarot, it could mean that she's on her way out. Like she could leave the scene. So let's look at that. I also think, like I said, I think we've got Saudi Arabia here, the gift, the money, and God, I'm getting dizzy on that. And in my next reading, and I did like in the last video, I also got, I think there's more like 3 possibly countries, or but a lot of payments that came into different accounts that are hidden. Okay, and then like I kept saying, this burial spot that was for Ivana, right? And I do realize I should have made it clear, because it was pointed out, yeah, Ivana is not in her burial, the supposed burial place at Bedminster Golf Course. She's not actually in there. Her body was cremated, first of all. And I mean, nobody puts, it's so bizarre. And I really think that I mean, the fact that this is here, and it came up again in my money reading, okay? In the second reading I did in my last video. This card came up again. This card came up again. This card came up again. This card, Jack Smith, came up again. All 4 of these cards came up again in my second reading, which was on the like focusing on the money that I think is going to become central to this. And I'm becoming more and more this Ace of Cups. This is like new emotion. I think, and the one thing I notice all day long listening to the news, they keep mentioning Bedminster, right? And people are starting to go like, okay, so it sounds like all the boxes went to Bedminster. He was doing a lot of bad things at Bedminster, but we've never heard that there's been any kind of search at Bedminster, right? I think they want to create this like sort of feeling of, well, you have to go search Bedminster, right? In order to possibly get like sort of a public reaction to why it hasn't been searched. And maybe it has, and maybe they just haven't told us yet. But I just want to say more on Ivana's burial place, which is getting a lot more chatter today, because the more we step away from it, the more absurd it is. First of all, this is, well, not only why would you put ashes into a coffin and bury it at your golf course? And I mean, it's just absurd, but not more absurd, and that no one seems to understand, or no one seems to be pointing out as much, if at all. Why would your ex-husband get any of your ashes? These ashes go to the children. This is your ex-husband. He's been married 2 more times and had kids with these other wives. It's like, maybe they were friends once upon a time, but it's like, we just are so, this idea that Trump's just in charge of the whole family. It's not true. I believe this is when he lost Ivanka, his daughter, and Ivanka came up in the second reading I did on the money. I think that the only way a judge would ever rule to have this part of Bedminster especially searched is if the kids said, yeah, there's documents in there. Or what I think also, there's evidence of financials that will, the evidence of financials is evidence of crime. It's hidden right now, this upside down King of Pentacles, or Knight of Pentacles, that gift from I believe from the prince. I think it went through Jared, but Jared was just a middleman. Probably got like a fee or something. So I feel like the investigation has to start to focus on Bedminster. And I don't know if that means that now that they will start to search Bedminster, or let us know that they have searched Bedminster. So I hope that makes sense. Let's read on this judge, Eileen Cannon. I just want to see if she's really going to be on her way out. I think it's possible from where she showed up in that final little spread at the end, which I felt was the trial that's coming. And I love that he says he wants to do a fast trial, like he wants to get into this. So, okay, so now we want to read on, Eileen Cannon, and I think I want to read on Bedminster too at the end. So, okay, so first, we want to know about this judge, Eileen Cannon. Is she going to be the judge? Is she going to be fair? Is she a sure thing? Is she sticking around? Is she on her way out? Will she be the judge for real on this trial? Or will she be let go? Four of Pentacles, that's holding something very close. So we'll see, maybe she wants to be the judge on this. I wouldn't also be too afraid. I mean, we're going to be we're going to be the judge and jury. We're going to see and hear everything. And like every one of these counts, okay, I'm sure I'm exaggerating here, but it's like they're all like 20 years. Like all he needs is just like, I mean, we already know it's so easily provable that he's guilty on so many of these. I guess she could give him like an easy punishment, but like what, instead of 300 years in jail, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Will he go to jail? Well, the devil at the surface. That's interesting. I mean, of course, for that to show up when we're I mean, there you go. God, and it's so creepy because in my second video also that I did in my last one, and I mentioned the trial, and I think it'll be televised, and I think we will see him whispering to his lawyers. That's what I meant to say. And I said whispering to his judges. And then I like put in a little correction and say, I meant to say whispering to his lawyers. I sure hope he's not whispering to judges. And then we find out about this. The devil at the surface. Okay, what's in the past? That's a financial gift. She's been rewarded before. She's going to leave. 8 of Cups. I think she has to exit the situation. I think the devil being right there at the surface right now, it's not hidden. It's like, you can see it. You can see that she is already just like a cultist to him. Like in that devil card. Like, so I do think she'll have to go. Let's see what's at the base here. 5 of Pentacles, okay. Knight of Swords, Jack Smith is gonna be like, nope. That was Jack Smith in my last couple. 3 of Cups, okay. Getting all kinds of dizzy, all kinds of energy. This is probably, this 3 of Cups, I think this is groups of people like protesting, whether it's legally protesting, or it could be sort of opening up the pool for someone else. I do think this 5 of Pentacles beneath the surface, it's like, I don't know if she's been like financially given money in the past by this group, this devil, this, you know, Trumpism collective. I do think that 5 of Pentacles in the subconscious position there beneath the surface shows a weakness of foundation for her. 5 of Pentacles is poverty, loss, and change in the form of misfortune. So I'd say she doesn't have a lot going for her. She stands on a very weak foundation, not a strong foundation at all for this case, which helps explain how she might have to leave, as we see in the 8 of Cups in the near future position. Anyway, I do see her leaving. And a different pool opening up, this 3 of Cups. I mean, at least how it looks in these cards. Let's see. Ten of Pentacles. Whew. Oh, interesting. Okay, it's not even like showing her anymore. I think she leaves. I think that maybe it's not known who's next, but these this 4 of Wands I got in, I think is Bedminster. I think that's coming up again. Bedminster, the money, the 10 of Pentacles would be lots of money. And it's kind of like family money too. It's like you've got grandfather and the daughter and the husband and the grandkids. It's like, it makes you think of that, of the money that could have come in for Trump, that $2 billion, or maybe there's more. And how he would have used his family perhaps to help bring it in to himself, including Jared and Ivanka. And the Sun, okay, exposing. Here's that 3 of Wands again, looking at the 3. I think there's like 3 I bet he has like 3 different people who paid him. Yeah, there's money that the accounts grew and then the accounts disappeared. You know, it's like, where are they? Ace of Pentacles, the Empress upside down. Again, pointing me to like Ivana's resting place. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, for her, this 8 of Cups would be walking away. Disappointed. She's disappointed, but Jack Smith is happy. And in the end, I do see everything being exposed. Whatever's to come, it's going to be exposed. There's not going to be this devil hanging over the situation. By the way, I can't believe I didn't mention that 10 of Wands here at the end, which keeps coming up and comes up again in the next reading on Bedminster. I think this represents burden of proof for the financial crimes involving the documents, which I think they need and would be found at Bedminster, and they know it, if only they could get the opportunity to truly search it inside and out, which I think they are working on. So, the other thing I wanted to read on, let's look at Bedminster in general, because, I mean, how many times is it mentioned in the indictments that, now the indictment paperwork that they have given out isn't everything, I've heard. It's like, that's just what they like want us to know now. Like, we could learn more as the trial happens. But why does Bedminster keep coming up and making everybody go like, how is it possible this hasn't been searched yet, right? Which I think is what they want us to be saying. So let's see. Bedminster shows. Is this going to end up being about Bedminster? The Hanged Man. Yes, they're waiting. Maybe they haven't yet, but they're waiting. And as the Hanged Man waits, the Hanged Man, you can see the sun around his head, or the enlightenment becomes. So as you wait, you can become more enlightened. So maybe everybody they meet with, they learn more. Oh my goodness, here we are again with that 3 of Wands that has now come up in like every reading on this. Oh, weird. Is Bedminster on the water also? I know Mar-a-Lago is, but it's almost like ships coming in, maybe literally, with like foreign dignitaries or whatever. Like, what do you got for me? But it could also be, as they wait, they're looking for the ships to come in. They're looking for, I'm thinking investigators. It's like they're looking for more people to flip and more people to give them more. And I definitely think that also they're just looking at Bedminster. I think if I'm asking about that and they're showing me these cards, they're waiting and looking. And they're waiting for more to come in. Maybe when like an indictment rolls out, and I think there's another guy also who's indicted on this, maybe like a lot can start to unfold. Oh, people flip, that kind of thing. 10 of Wands, that keeps coming up also. Burdens. There's a burden of proof. I keep getting like burden of proof on this 10 of Wands. So that's, if they haven't done it yet, they have a burden of proof for some reason. It looks pretty obvious to me. The burden of proof that keeps coming up, of course, I realize now is on the financial and foreign trade aspect of the investigation, which is not included in the current list of indictments. The current counts are all about stealing, concealing, lying, recklessness, which I think will be easy to prove. But to be able to add financial and sort of treasonous trade crimes, I think they need to find the evidence of them, which may be at Bedminster. And it's like someone is saying, give me more or I can't allow this search. So there's a burden of proof hanging over this, I think. And this is for entertainment purposes only, based on my cards and intuition. So I think even if a lot of the initial activity happened at Mar-a-Lago, there's more hidden at Bedminster, and they would like to search it head to toe. But for some reason, they need more to get that going, and I hope they get what they need soon. But maybe Maybe that's what they need, pressure, to put pressure on the judge to get the judgment they want, which would be, yeah, we need to do this. The public is now involved and wants this. 10 of Swords, the indictments are done. That's the indictments. So I think it's almost that this is in the past. It's like, okay, the indictments are done. Now it will help us get the burden of proof that we need to move forward. And I did find some people on Twitter thinking the same thing as me, and some pointed out that he was actually at Bedminster on Wednesday when the indictments were announced, acting very arrogant per usual, and it felt almost like he's marking his territory or feels paranoid and wants to be in that space because that is not his usual hangout. Page of Swords, a messaging. So I do think that now in the news, it's almost like this could be what I'm saying, where I start to hear like, you know, like Chris Hayes today, he's like, the one thing that keeps standing out, which I was like waiting for someone to say, is like, why haven't we searched Bedminster? So maybe they just need more of this chatter. And it could also be that we're going to hear something in the news soon on this. Some more information. Maybe it was searched, or maybe they're going to be searching. It's not like a ruling, but it is a message. Queen of Wands at the base, or beneath the surface rather. Yeah. Queen of Wands. Somebody who would make a ruling, who's waiting for enough to make the ruling. I don't think it's that Eileen Cannon, because that would be for like the eventual trial. I think this is more like a grand jury kind of thing. Let's see. Where is this gonna go? Bedminster. There it is again. Oh my God, the upside down Empress. In just 5 minutes ago in my last reading, I had read that as Ivana's burial, not real burial, because she's not in there, and I don't even think her ashes are in there. I think it's all theater. But there she, okay, so I would say, I'm also getting more on this upside down Empress, not just that it's the one site where Ivana is pretend buried, but other areas of the grounds as well. The Empress represents earth, grounds, gardens, and it's giving me the feeling of underground, hidden, digging up, or unearthing. And I see it as being several spots. 8 of Pentacles is craftsmanship. But also Pentacles is money. This is taking me to financial records, because it's like, it's like evidence and information, I think, connected to it. Oh, and they could also be like drawing up arguments, okay? Like for whoever this person who would make a ruling that says, okay, go ahead and do a search. I don't know. So it's like they're working on it. The sun, there's that sun again. I'm happy to see it. The hope is that we can expose this. The hope is that we can see it all. And of course, for some, the fear would be that, for Trump, the fear would be that we will expose and see it all. And judgment, oh my gosh. This is great. Also, by the way, if you really look at the judgment card, it's literally people rising up from their coffins, from the ground. It's like Judgment Day. Wow, that card for this reading is exactly what I was wondering. Here we have Ivana. And like, I do feel it's an insult to her whether or not she's there or not. I'm still very insulted for her memory. I feel for anyone who loved her to have her used like that. Yeah, judgment. Wow, the trumpet, the rising. It's like the rising of the dead. I don't mean to laugh. Yeah, so I really think they're going to. I'm getting exhume. Is that the word? Exhume her grave site. And I think the way they would do it is it becomes a crime scene. I mean, literally at this point, they could make Bedminster a crime scene. They could do that I really think in a heartbeat. And once it's a crime scene, they can do whatever they want. And guess what? You're not going to have cameras around. So it's not going to be some big thing where Trump is going, look what they're doing. How can he do that? It's a crime scene. He's not even allowed there. He's the last person allowed there. Oh my gosh, is it gonna be a crime scene? Death, oh my God. Death and judgment at Bedminster, wow. It's major, 2 major arcanas. Yeah, I think it's gonna become a crime scene, which it should be, based on what we know. 4 of Swords, there she is again. This, incredible. This is what I initially got as Ivana in her resting place. Of course, she's not really there, but it still is representing that. The tomb or whatever, like I don't know, like a tomb. It wasn't a tomb, but maybe there's also a tomb somewhere. Maybe there's a tomb at Bedminster. That's interesting. So death, it's going to be like the end of Bedminster. I think that are they going to just shut the whole thing down? It's a crime scene. Wow. To read on Bedminster and to get her here and here. And the Sun card again, which is just exposing it all. This is what we want. Oh, wow. Ace of Pentacles. And I was saying, I think there's money. It's not just hidden documents, but it's money. I think he literally, like, this is like, look at it. It's like a gold. I was thinking this because I think it was like Cash Peters who did a reading on it, and he felt like there were things, and I'm like, I bet it's like gold. Like, you know how like people who need to hide money when money is evidence, they might put it in gold bars, and everybody said how heavy the coffin was. There's gonna be like gold bars in there. How is the coffin so heavy? There isn't even a body in there. Come on. And then 2 of Wands. Yeah, it's like going through a new gateway. It's like a whole new world where everybody like finally, I think, gets it. Wow. And my head is like, my ears and head is so hot right now. Like I'm getting so much energy on this. So I realize how maybe far-fetched that seems. And there's the Tower at the bottom. But the cards are giving me this answer very clearly. The Tower and the Emperor, the fall of the Emperor. Wow. Here's a King of Swords. Maybe we will have a male judge. Ultimately, we did see the woman walk away. I don't know for sure that that's what I'm getting here, but maybe Asian. Maybe that's a little literal because the card, but honestly, these cards, which are, by the way, so great. The One World Tarot, Lena Rodriguez and Sienna Rose, our very own here on YouTube. 2 of the greats, and these cards are so great. And honestly, sometimes, because it's a very like multicultural, and they do seem to work in so many different ways in like the real world now compared to the Rider-Waite, but they're like just as good as the Rider-Waite. It's just more real. Contemporary while still feeling old world. I love what they did. Anyway. So that's my reading on that. So I hope you guys got something out of this and enjoyed it, and feel free to give your comments and your thoughts if you're feeling this too and noticing things on the news relating to this. I think it's going to end up focused on Bedminster, or going there at least. They're going to be digging things up at Bedminster. And I think it's going to be digging into the ground, possibly into that resting place, the fake resting place that's not really her resting place, of course. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.